Hi everyone, it's Catherine, and this video is for those of you that are struggling right now. I'm not going to pretend I know why you're struggling. It could be because you're overwhelmed by everything going on in your life, or you're underwhelmed and just apathetic, or you feel like you're a burden to those around you. Like, I don't want to dwell on the negative reason behind why you're feeling that way, but I will tell you that when I am feeling like I literally hate everything at the moment, I don't feel like doing anything, that I don't want to feel like that forever. I certainly don't like feeling that way is what I'm trying to get at. That being said, your feelings are totally valid. It's perfectly right to feel whatever you're feeling, but just know that the way you react to anything is 100% in your control. So you can choose to kind of just sit and wallow in what's feeling bad in your life right now, or you can choose, you know what? You can react to it with a smile on your face, and you are able to actually treat the situation in your mind how you want to treat it. So here are the ways I get out of my little funk personally and try to regain some sense of hope in the world. I'm not going to say that these are all going to work for you, but I certainly hope some of them resonate, and as soon as one of them does, please give this a thumbs up. First of all, I know a lot of my viewers are in school, and school can create a lot of anxiety and stress, so if you're feeling the way you're feeling because of your school schedule or what's going on academically, please read this article. It came out several months ago. It was completely blasted all over my Facebook newsfeed because it was so relatable. I'm just going to read one quote from the article to kind of get your interest sparked in going over there to read it. It's in the description box, but you see, the main event of school is not academic learning. It never has been and never will be. The main event is learning how to deal with the harshness of life when it gets difficult. How to overcome problems as simple as a forgotten locker combination, to obnoxious peers, to gossip, to people doubting you, to asking for help in the face of self-doubt, to pushing yourself to concentrate when a million other thoughts and temptations are literally fingertips away. It is your resilience in conquering the main event, adversity, that truly prepares you for life after school. It's finding hope in the hopeless, courage in the chasm, and guts in the grave. So I get a lot of anxiety from wanting to achieve a certain GPA or wanting to advance myself in a certain class or course or curriculum, and like, this article really just helps to ground you and make you realize that like there's so much more to college or high school or middle school or whatever type of education you're going through, that you shouldn't be so wrapped up in like those nuances, that there are so many other things that you're learning right now that are so valuable that you actually should appreciate. So that was school advice, but here I'm just going to kind of give you the quotes and thoughts and things I tell myself to get myself in a better mood no matter what is really contributing to my stress or worries or anxiety. So I think kind of relating to this article, but to all of you out there, is that the days that you keep your gratitude higher than your expectations are really the best days. It's about not expecting that every day is going to treat you perfectly. The universe doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't matter if you have good karma or not. The universe doesn't owe you a good day. So it's about keeping a lot of gratitude for those little moments in the day that actually do remind you that people love you and people do care for you, even though it might not feel like an overwhelming sense of that sometimes. I included this quote in my first ever college weekly vlog, which is over my vlog channel, but I said, everyone should smile. Life really isn't that serious. The sun rises, the sun sets. We just tend to complicate the process. So I think a lot of times it's helpful to remember that even if we're worrying about something so serious, at the end of the day, we're alive on this earth and we're breathing, and that's wonderful, and sometimes you just have to appreciate that fact. Another quote I like to remind myself is, 1, do not promise when you're happy. 2, when you're angry, don't respond. And 3, do not decide when you're sad. So I think a lot of times when we're sad, we can make these decisions, or we can make these hard line statements about what's going on and what needs to change, but just kind of give it some time. Make sure you realize that like this isn't going to be how you feel forever, and also don't lash out at those people when you're in that kind of angry kind of mood, because they really don't deserve it. And when I'm having a really tough time and I'm just kind of like, why me, to the universe, I kind of like to think about, I don't even know if this quote's true, and a lot of these things you might be like, you know what, that's bullshit, that's never gonna happen, that's not the way I believe, but even if they don't, like, it still makes you feel a little bit better. And this quote kind of applies to it, and it says, everything you are going through is preparing you for everything you asked for. So you might be really struggling in a class, or you might be having a really tough time with your best friend or like another loved one in your family, But I know you all have some lofty goals out there with your life and you want to achieve some things. And kind of like that article was saying, like learning how to deal with these things is going to help you so much in the long run. So if you can figure out how to react well for the next time you might deal with something like that, it's going to serve you so well. And also, if you like any of these quotes, they're all from my Tumblr, which is always linked down below. I have a little quotes tab on my Tumblr so you can search through a lot of these quotes and like 10 times more. But yeah, again, getting back to reacting to the situation, do the best that you can now with reacting to it or changing something or studying or whatever. Do the best you can now, and then when you know better, do better. So don't beat yourself up for not being good enough or not being able to handle this right now. That's okay, we all struggle, we all deal with this. Whatever you do, do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You'll see some people that look like their life is all together, but we're all trying to make our lives look all together. So you have to remember that they're going through different things. You have a behind the scenes look at your life, but all you see is their highlight reel, what they're doing. So it might feel like you're not good enough and you're struggling and you can't get through this, but I promise you, you can, and it's important really to stop comparing yourself. It's none of your business what people say of you or think of you. You are who you are, you do what you do. Expect nothing, but accept all the good, and I think that'll make your life a lot easier. You are seriously the only person you need to be good enough for. So stop looking at your past or observing others and comparing yourself, because at the end of the day, you have a different path, you have a different purpose. You're your own self, and you cannot just compare your experience to someone else's. But if you do want to kind of make a change in your life, one quote I really like from Timothy Ferriss is that you are the average of the 5 people you associate with most. So do not underestimate the effects of the pessimistic, unambitious, or disorganized friends. If someone isn't making you stronger, they're making you weaker. So if you hang out with a lot of people that are really negative and attack people all the time and criticize themselves and don't love themselves, that guaranteed will rub off on you because you're spending a lot of time with them. So start kind of looking for people in your life that you really feel good around, and don't depend on them for your happiness, because you shouldn't be looking for happiness in the same place you lost it or had trouble with it. But look to them as people that can really contribute and teach you how to live a more healthy lifestyle, because you don't want to be sitting with these negative thoughts and have your friends kind of like confirming them. Because at the end of the day, it's not these people determining how you live your life. Every single day the world's going to drag you around and say, you know, this is important and pay attention to this, and this is what matters most in your life, and this job is really paramount to everything you want to do ever. But it's your job to stand up and just be like, you know what, get out, I'm fine, this is what's important, just my mental health, my well-being, getting through this is what's important, and don't necessarily believe what everyone says. And finally, my last piece of advice that really helps me is that a lot of times I get frustrated with myself because I feel like I'm not accomplishing enough, getting back to this idea of like you're not enough. But my favorite piece of actually Buddhist advice is stop measuring days by degree of productivity and start measuring them by degree of presence. So just learn to appreciate the individual moments you're in and who's around you. Don't have your face glued to your phone, or don't always be thinking about what you could be doing in the time, but rather appreciate what you're learning at the moment, or appreciate what the weather is like at the moment, and stop taking those things for granted and just stop worrying about how much you're getting done, your productivity, but focus on being all there in the moment. So that is my quotes advice. I hope any of those really helped you. Again, they're on my Tumblr. The next thing that like honestly without fail helps is music. Any kind of music for me will make me happier. It doesn't even matter who it is. It could be a sad song, it'd make me feel better. Just having music in my ears, or singing loud to it in the car, or just like, you know, having it in my head is really important. If you aren't super music buff and don't really know what to look for, my favorite kind of things at the moment I would listen to, if I were in a horrible state and just hating everything, I'd probably listen to Darwin Dees. He's an indie artist, definitely a different type of music, but he just came out with a new album. Right When It Rains is a song that makes me so freaking happy that I actually have to stop listening to it because I don't want to get tired of it. But a lot of his music is kind of just like, you can really sing along with it, and it's a little bit, you know, grungy, but also like really uplifting. So check out Darwin Dees. I also really like Disney music. I'm a huge Disney fan, if you can see any of the stuff in the background. But I love listening to the Ratatouille soundtrack, the Up soundtrack, the Inside Out soundtrack, as well as like the Disneyland Main Street loop they have on YouTube. It'll just play all the music they play on Main Street, because honestly it's hard for me to be upset with the world when I'm in Disneyland. So if I can make myself feel like I am there by listening to the music that plays when I'm there, it helps a lot, I promise you. And then last, if you want to kind of blend the quote side of my advice with music side, sorry if the camera angle changed or lighting changed, but as I was saying, the next thing you should listen to is Mod Sun's new album, Look Up. The album itself is incredible, but the last 5 songs are some songs I continually go back to again and again, because they're basically just meditation. He guides you through 5 parts. They're all called Did I Ever Wake Up? And it's like wonderful looking out of the airplane music or a car ride or when you're alone studying, just anything to kind of get you out of your funk and provide you with a wonderful new positive approach to life. Because I know a lot of times we do get stuck in one way of thinking, and it's great because it's kind of a blend of music and the advice portion, so I really recommend listening to that. It's completely free on Spotify or YouTube, and I really do appreciate it. But my last piece of advice is for those of you that are feeling insanely apathetic or just tired and bored and don't want to really do anything, or maybe you're the kind of person that's struggling with perfectionism and you feel like the hardest part for you of anything is just starting and making sure that you're in the perfect place to start. So to kind of stop worrying about that, my favorite thing to think about is if you can't bring yourself to do anything, just do it full out for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. If you can't do it past that and you hate it, you don't like it, don't force it, you're done, don't worry about it. But it's just those 2 minutes that really help me, whether I'm working on a YouTube video or whether I'm studying or I'm working on a project. The first 2 minutes I'll just keep writing, I'll keep reading after that, and it's a lot easier. So if you're in a complacent or apathetic place and you're really struggling with that, I know a lot of us on YouTube do struggle with making sure everything's perfect at the very, very start, then that will definitely help you as a cool way to kind of approach your work. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is that I'm not going to tell you at the end of this video, have a great day and make sure you're having an awesome morning or afternoon or evening. I'm not going to tell you that. All I'm going to tell you is to have just a day. Have a day. Simply stay alive, just feed yourself, treat yourself, wear comfortable clothes you like, and just most importantly, just don't give up on yourself yet, because it'll be better soon. But until then, just have a day. I'd like to thank you all for watching. See you in my next video. Subscribe to see that next video. And Katherout.